Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Shauna Mama B. Bannon is your champion.
Every one of them are worthy title fights.
Absolutely, a nice roll through it. She's onto the back now as Shauna. Oh, Dakota taking on SBG Dublin's 24, Shauna Bannon, and we're in the final round.
Amateur women's flyweight champion in the red corner, Dakota.
Shannon laughed at Dakota Ditcheva when she fell, thinking she had the fight in the bag. But the arena turned into a nightmare for her as Dakota unleashed a brutal, unstoppable storm. By the final bell, Shannon's laughter had vanished, replaced with shock, pain, and the harsh reality of underestimating the queen of the cage.
Aspires, Dakota Ditcheva puts her 2-0 record against SBG Dublin 24's Shauna Bannon.
The tension in the arena was electric as the two fighters stepped into the cage on February 29, 2020. Dakota Ditcheva was facing Shauna Bannon, the blonde bombshell who had already made a name for herself in the amateur and professional ranks. Before the fight even began, Bannon made it clear she wasn't taking Dakota seriously. She mocked Dakota's fighting style, throwing taunting side kicks and flashing a taekwondo flourish that seemed more like a performance than preparation.
For the main card, we have 6 titles on the line, and from pro to amateur, every one of them are worthy title fights.
Absolutely, a nice roll through it. She's onto the back now as Shauna.
But this arrogance would cost her dearly. Just minutes into the fight, Bannon landed a nasty head kick that dropped Dakota, and the crowd gasped at the sudden drama. It was a moment that could have rattled anyone, but for Dakota, it was fuel. The stakes were sky high. The UKFC Amateur Women's Flyweight title hung in the balance, making every move in the cage a matter of career-defining consequence.
I'm introducing her opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner.
Dakota was no ordinary teenager stepping into the cage. At just her second pro fight, she had already earned a reputation as a rising prodigy in women's MMA. Her style was aggressive yet calculated. She combined precise striking with wrestling strength and a deadly submission game. Every movement she made carried purpose. Every strike aimed to dismantle her opponent.
Some would arguably say besting Kerry in the ground exchanges.
She did, and she has Chia Toe on her back now. She's after working a beautiful trip. Heavy pressure, heavy with the hips.
Can't quite see from our position if she has the mount.
In contrast, Shauna Bannon, known as Mama B, came in undefeated and confident. A slick puncher with brutal wrestling skills, Bannon had already shown she could dominate opponents at the PFL level and beyond. Where Dakota's approach was disciplined and humble, Bannon thrived on showmanship and intimidation. The contrast was clear. One fighter relied on raw talent and relentless drive, while the other leaned on experience and swagger. The difference in their paths added a layer of drama. Dakota was the young underdog with meteoric momentum, and Bannon was the seasoned powerhouse used to being feared. The build-up to the fight had the crowd on edge. Bannon's overconfidence was impossible to ignore. She taunted Dakota at every opportunity, launching flashy side kicks, spinning heel kicks, and exaggerated strikes that were meant to intimidate. Dakota, however, never stooped to trash talk. She carried a quiet intensity, a chip on her shoulder from years of proving herself in the amateur circuit. The contrast was palpable. The arena was split between fans of the confident, undefeated blonde and supporters of the teenage rising star. The story behind Bannon added to the tension. She had demolished Dakota's previous opponent, Carrie Isom, with brutal precision, proving she could end fights in devastating fashion. The audience could sense that this wasn't just another fight. It was a collision of raw youth versus seasoned skill, of humility versus arrogance. Every cheer and gasp built the anticipation, with fans eagerly awaiting the moment when Dakota might turn the tables.
4-2 record for her, and we start exchanging leg kicks.
And I'm excited to see this striking exchange between the two.
When the first bell rang, the fight immediately became a test of wills. Bannon tried to assert dominance with her flashy strikes, but Dakota's focus was unshakable. She absorbed early pressure and used it to her advantage, demonstrating wrestling control and tactical striking that belied her age and experience.
Ditcheva still only young, 20, 21 years old, I believe. But she is now under the tutelage of the Aspire gym, looking to make this move into mixed martial arts. And
the early head kick that had dropped her did not break her spirit. It ignited it. With every jab, kick, and knee, Dakota began to dismantle the confident facade Bannon had built around herself. The crowd roared with each successful strike, sensing the momentum shift.
Cagey's not the word, but it's been tight. It's been a close round.
And a lot of it has been contested within that clinch. Both of them are trying to...
By combining relentless aggression with calculated precision, Dakota was not just fighting for a title. She was rewriting expectations. The mockery from earlier now hung over Bannon like a shadow, foreshadowing the shock that was about to unfold. Even in those early rounds, it was clear that Dakota was a fighter unlike any Bannon had faced before. Her ability to transition seamlessly between striking and grappling made her unpredictable and dangerous.
Circling to the left. Shauna Bannon.
While Bannon relied on experience and flash, Dakota's strategy was rooted in efficiency and power. The contrast in their approaches heightened the drama. Every kick, punch, and clinch became more than a technique. It was a statement. Fans in the packed arena in England were witnessing a moment that would be remembered. A young fighter, underestimated and mocked, standing tall against an undefeated powerhouse. The tension, the skill, the emotion, it all built toward a shocking payoff where the arrogance that started the fight would meet the force of relentless determination.
She's looking to try and control that arm again. Sneaks, she's got the back.
Up her back, let's see.
By the time the first round ended, the story was already shifting. Dakota had absorbed, adapted, and retaliated, turning what could have been a humiliating defeat into the start of a powerful comeback. The stakes remained high, the title on the line, and the tension in the cage palpable. Every fan could sense that this fight would not just decide a championship, it would be a defining moment in Dakota Ditcheva's career, the kind of fight that leaves spectators talking long after the bell. The mockery that opened the night was no longer a joke. It was a setup for one of the most brutal and satisfying reversals in recent women's MMA history.
Oh, and Bannon coming out with that nice side kick. That taekwondo style. Oh, spinning heel kick as well.
The bell rang for second round and chaos erupted. Dakota Ditcheva and Shauna Bannon came out swinging like a pair of tornadoes with fists. Long push kicks flew through the air, spinning heel kicks cut across the cage, and punches were landing so fast it was hard to keep track. Bannon's flashy style was on full display, trying to intimidate with every swing. From that moment, Dakota turned the tide with a mix of wrestling and grappling that was downright impressive.
We're in the final round and exchanging leg kicks. Oh, and again the clinch is in. This time, Dakota turns early.
One moment, Bannon was trying to land a spinning kick. The next, Dakota was clinching, twisting, and using her strength to control the action. Her knees started to land with precision, elbows carving through defenses, and front kicks targeting Bannon's legs and torso, each strike landing with a kind of pay attention now authority. The cage felt like a chessboard, with both fighters testing each other, one exchange of punches followed by a wrestling scramble. It wasn't just a fight, it was a full-on display of skill, power, and sheer will.
Taking Eden seconds away. Really interesting. It's going to be really interesting if this goes to the judges. First 2 rounds.
Then came the turning point. Dakota started taking complete control of the wrestling exchanges, tossing Bannon around like a toddler who had wandered into the wrong playground. The crowd's reaction was instantaneous. Cheers and chants grew louder as Dakota locked Bannon's arm, stunned her with thunderous left bombs, and dominated the grappling exchanges with a ferocity that had everyone's jaw on the floor. For a moment, the undefeated Bannon, who had come in acting untouchable, looked like she'd misread the entire fight. Dakota's aggression wasn't reckless. It was precise, calculated, and relentless. Every time Bannon tried to recover, Dakota adapted. She mixed her striking, wrestling, and submission skills seamlessly, turning the cage into her own playground and forcing Bannon to play catch-up.
But for two strikers, the tale of this match has been the cage wrestling and the cage grappling.
The highlight reel practically billed itself. Dakota's signature moves became the story of the night. She delivered knees to the body and face that left marks visible even from the stands. Spinning kicks and push kicks flew with surgical accuracy, each one saying, "I'm in control now."
Amateur women's flyweight champion in the red corner, Dakota!
And when she went for submissions, guillotine chokes, arm locks, it wasn't just technical, it was terrifying. Bannon tried to survive, clinging, hugging, attempting counterattacks, but it was like watching someone try to hold back a freight train with a stick.
And we're in the final round.
We're in the final round and exchanging leg kicks. Oh, and again the clinch is in. This time Dakota turns early. Tie plum clinched. Oh, that's a big knee. Oh!
The precision and power Dakota displayed left everyone in the arena reeling. For a fighter in only her second professional fight, it was unbelievable. The audience couldn't believe what they were seeing. A teenage underdog turning into a juggernaut, rewriting the script in real time.
She could find room to land a knee between two sheets of paper. It's unbelievable. And again, controlling Bannon up against the cage, eating seconds away. Really interesting. It's going to be really interesting if this goes to the judges. First two rounds, last three rounds, probably Dakota, but
this is it looks likely to go to the judges. This is something they're going to have to decipher, or they will have already deciphered, obviously, when they've done that, handed their scores in.
As the fight neared its climax, it became clear that victory was within Dakota's grasp. Every punch, every knee, every throw was adding to the pressure on Bannon.
For two strikers, the tale of this match has been the cage wrestling and the cage grappling.
Yeah, again, Dakota's ability to fight.
When the final bell rang, Dakota had done more than win a fight. She had claimed the UKFC flyweight title, her very first title in MMA. The celebration was electric. Mom was in the cage. The crowd erupted, and Dakota's smile said everything. Years of hard work, determination, and focus had paid off. From her pro debut, where she quickly dispatched her first 5 opponents, to this monumental victory, Dakota's rise was unstoppable.
For your winner, and now the UKFC Amateur Women's Flyweight Champion in the red corner, Dakota!
By the end of the night, it was clear Dakota Ditcheva had arrived. Bannon's arrogance had met its match, and the UKFC flyweight title was just the beginning. She cemented herself as one of Europe's top MMA fighters and a rising force in the PFL. Her mental toughness is unreal. She never trash talks, letting her fists do all the talking.